Yeah. Did you read it in French? Just kidding.
No, I did not read it in French.
I didn't either. The Three Dark Crowns. Oh, that's cool. I have to tell you, I love this chat thing. I am, and you know, I'm old, so it's hard for me to like move back and forth, but I think people respond and talk this way. They chat to each other. It's great. Just a fun fact before anybody else mentions what they're reading. I do not know the Three Dark Crowns, but of course, this is my chance to learn all of the hot new literature that I don't have time to read. There is a rewrite of The Stranger out now from the point of view of an Algerian. Yes, not the French colonizer, but the but the person of color who is, you know, misused in the original. So.
And I just want to let you all know, since we've started our session, we are recording it now because it'll be available for other accepted students to view later. So just so you all know, your faces will be a part of that. But I'm glad that we get to see your faces and that those other students can see them as well. But please continue on.
No, that's fine. And some people like to just put something in front of their face, like, this is my Virginia Woolf mug, so now I can be Virginia Woolf, which is great because she was terrific. Right? Oh, absolutely.
I'm gonna actually go close my curtains so that way I'm not backlit. You can actually
you
probably
are
see
so,
me.
I mean, you're actually fine, but feel free.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna see.
Okay.
Whatever makes you most comfortable.
Yeah. Isn't it weird? Do you feel like suddenly you're all Hollywood stars and you're constantly working with lighting? Oh, that is very good. Yeah. I've had to put makeup on and I can't tell the difference, which is very annoying. So is anybody else reading anything they want to talk about? And this is totally optional.
I'm reading.
You go.
Okay. I'm reading the Tethered Mage series, and it's just fantasy and then like political intrigue, and so. That's
good. I love the title. You know, I didn't know what a mage was until 3 years ago. Okay. Thanks. Is it Amaya or Amaya?
It's Amaya.
Amaya. And what are you reading?
I'm reading this book called Blink. It's The Power of Thinking Without Thinking. That's the new one I just started.
Oh my, is that by Malcolm Gladwell?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Are you liking it?
So far, yeah.
Oh, do you want to know a fun fact about Malcolm Gladwell?
Sure.
Sure you do. It's not really about him. My daughter goes to college in upstate New York at Bard, and it's north of New York City, which of course, yes, it's all very frightening for us, but that's where she is. She works at a hotel down the road. She's a house cleaner, which also amuses me. If you'd ever seen her room growing up, she saw Malcolm Gladwell. She said, I think I cleaned Malcolm Gladwell's toilet. I said, great. I'm so happy and proud that this is what your college education is doing. That is supposed to be a great book, though. Excellent. Anybody else? And I'm not going to call people out. So, you know, some people are just busy thinking. Shall I move on?
I will just share, I was just reading Pride and Prejudice for my grad class at Hood. And I have to share that it's probably my 10th time reading Pride and Prejudice. I did most of my undergraduate independent work on Jane Austen. So
yes, you did. So for you, it's like, yeah. I am reading, has anyone heard of Tavia Butler? She's actually a science fiction writer, which I didn't know. I'm reading Lilith's Brood for a social distance book club because why not? And it's great. I think a lot of people like fantasy and science fiction, right? That's usually a very popular, yeah. And I think it was it Lily in the chat room who mentioned, oh no, it was Rachel. Hello, Rachel. The Three Dark Crowns. And the mage, the tethered mage.
Yeah.
It's great. Okay.
It has a virtual book club going on right now for social distancing. And back to Jane Austen, they did Emma first. So that's how we're keeping current students involved with one another since we all miss each other.
So I will say we all miss each other and we are all in touch a lot. To let you know, what is it like to be a college student in the time of the pandemic? Because, right? Maybe we need to be aware of it. Hood, I am so proud of my institution. Got on it. They did a number of fabulous things. This was not supposed to be part of my presentation, but you know, very, very quickly. Yeah, very, very quickly. Students had an extended spring break, one more week, while the faculty had time to organize themselves and learn how to do this online. But also to learn how to ask a little bit less of our students this semester. And I don't know if your high schools are doing this, but we're pulling back from some of the assignments. Some people are saying no, no, because we are aware that as calm and cool and collected as you all look, especially in the middle of class, there's a lot going on in the back of your minds. And I don't know if you've all had trouble focusing.
Yes.
Is anybody having that trouble?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have online class and just work to do, and I just don't have any focus.
Right. Yep. I'm seeing a lot of nodding. We're all learning how to do this. And so we have found that one of the main things that Hood has already done well is small groups and focusing on each other. That's, you've obviously been looking at small colleges, so I don't need to sell that. But we're able to continue to do most of what we've done. Okay, so let's get back to creative writing. In a real-time session, we would be writing right now. I'm going to show you this piece of paper. I don't even know if you can see it. Is that backwards?
We can read it. Yep.
Really? I usually ask people to take about 7 minutes. And, ooh, wait, there's a question. I want to answer Kira's question first. What classics are important books? Oh my goodness. You know what? Read what you're reading.
Okay.
The reason is when you get to college, you'll read them.
That's true.
Right? And I think one of the things I would say is we're interested in what you've been looking at, not what you think you should be looking at. And some of the hard things for students, I teach American literature and creative writing. Those are my 2 areas. And so I teach a lot of Toni Morrison. I don't know if anyone reads Toni Morrison. Yep, who is fabulous. But I have so many students who say, yeah, I had to read Beloved in high school. Beloved is one of the most challenging books, even for graduate students. And I almost think there are certain books, when you read them too early, you'll never want to read. If you read Beloved in high school, and one student read it in middle school, she never wanted to read Toni Morrison again. She said, this was the worst writer. I don't understand how she won the Nobel Prize in Literature. And I said, well, let's back up. So if there are books that people are talking about that you are interested in, absolutely read them. But you are in high school, and I'm guessing some people are taking AP classes, or, they have the list. The beautiful thing about literature is every year, the list of what's great gets exponentially longer. So, what might have been, everyone said, are you reading Grapes of Wrath? Grapes of Wrath is the most important book ever written. Is anyone reading Grapes of Wrath right now? Probably not. Is there Steinbeck? I mean, he's great. John Steinbeck's terrific. Yeah. So, I could give you my 50,000 favorite books, but I don't think you need that. Yeah, but I do love that question, because I think it speaks to, maybe the belief that there are really important books that one should read, and we call that the canon, and we will absolutely argue about that in class, like what belongs, what doesn't, right? So maybe I should ask this. Should I introduce myself a teensy bit? This is what I do, tiny bit. Okay, I am an American literature creative writing professor. When I teach American literature, I really teach all of it, but one of my areas is what we call ethnic literature and African American literature. I say ethnic because everybody is ethnic, and all of American literature is really what I'm fascinated by. I was trained in 20th century American women's writing, but that's a pretty narrow field. So I also teach the Puritans. which is very frightening, especially at 8:30 in the morning. I have an MA in creative writing, and I am a fiction writer, a short story writer, and a novelist. I teach several creative writing workshops, all in fiction. We have poetry workshops. We have nonfiction workshops. We have screenwriting, which everybody loves, and screencraft, which is the prerequisite, which is about how movies are made. And we have playwriting. I think that covers. Oh, and I also teach environmental writing. If you've ever read Thoreau, which I don't think anyone should read in high school, or maybe before they're 30. So, does anyone have any questions about workshops or the English department? And you can think for a moment.
Are workshops like separate from classes, or are they?
They are classes.
Okay, that's what I was.
Absolutely. You get full credit for them. You get a grade. You know, they count. We have concentrations in our major, if you're an English major, that is. But I encourage all majors to take creative writing. They are not, you know, we have a really good mix. I have a lot of biology and chemistry and math majors, which always amuses me because those are my least, I'm not good at any of those things. So whenever I have a chemistry problem, I can ask my students. So yeah, the workshop is quite small. I see, Kira, you look like you have a question.
I do.
Okay.
Is there something about technical writing that you guys will go over ever in any class?
There is a class on business writing,
Okay.
which may cover that. And there is a class in, oh gosh, I can't remember what it's called. Explicatory, what is that called? You remember, Peyton?
I will jump in and say one of our English faculty members, Dr. Heather Mitchell-Buck, she teaches us a lot of business writing just in our literature classes. We do SWOT analysis in those classes. So she kind of mixes it up and makes it fun. So you will learn the skills you need to learn to go out into whatever field you end up working in.
Yeah. And I will say technical writing is a field that changes every, 5 minutes now?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, that can, and you know, we do a lot of crossover, interdisciplinary things. Ooh, what courses are required for an English major at Hood? All of them. No. We have, I wish I had my list. There are probably 50 classes you choose from. So there is the only one class that everyone takes is our senior seminar. And that's at the end of you usually take it in your junior or senior year. But I'll give you, before I talk about that, there are obviously freshman, I can't call it freshman English classes, right? First year classes, that's just your basic composition or literature. We have courses in genre, like stories versus novels versus poetry. We have courses in theme. So I'll just talk about mine. I teach, golly, what do I teach? Oh, I teach early African-American literature, the 19th century, and I believe in earlier than that, and contemporary. We have courses in poetry, Victorian novel, environmental literature, medieval magic, I know, huh? Pop culture. So the courses that are required, we ask that you complete 30 credits, which is 10 classes, but the array that you choose from is huge. We have a historical breadth requirement, so you got to do something before the 19th century. It may be only one class. If you hate all early stuff, it may be all of your classes except for the one required class after the 19th century. So the senior seminar is a really wonderful experience. It's all majors. It's people who've worked together for probably 4 years. And the one I'm teaching is on haunting and ghosts and horror. Yes, I had Peyton in it. She was great. And it's really more of a seminar. It's a class where students do most of the discussion, lead discussions and whatnot. So I hope that answers the question. I'll assume, yeah.
And we have about 7 more minutes with Dr. Gottfried. So
Holy
any
smoke.
any more questions you all have, we would love to answer. She would love to answer. So.
I would. I'll let people think. No? Okay. I tell you what, I'm going to start talking and then you interrupt me. All right? So here's something that we usually do in a creative writing workshop. Normally, I would not be talking at this point. When we come in, after we talk about what we've been reading, my husband just gave me coffee, which doesn't usually happen at a workshop. I love this. Thank you. He doesn't usually show up at the workshop door with coffee. We write on the top of a piece of paper, and I'm almost tempted to say, if you have anything to write on for like 2 minutes. Peyton said, I can give you 2 minutes for this. If you write, my mother never, at the top of a piece of paper, and try and write 3 lines after that. Anything. And I'm going to do it right now. You can type too. I think you can, and you could do it on your phone. All right, you ready? And I think it's 2 minutes Peyton has given us. Do you like how I threw her under the bus? So it's, my mother never. The only rule is do not sentimentalize the mother. And it doesn't need to be your mother. You can make it up. Go!
This is awkward because my mom's sitting right next to me.
She's
Hi,
not
Lainey's
allowed to.
mom.
Hello!
Hello. All right, I'm not looking.
No, I'm writing about the characters.
Okay, good.
I'm done. This is so horrible because you probably just got the wind under your wings and I'm cutting you off. But really,
I restarted mine.
You restarted it already? Okay. Normally, this gives rise to your first story. My goal when you walk out of the workshop is that you have the beginnings of something you might continue with. And I always encourage students, if they wish, to send me what they have. If you want feedback or if you just want me to read it, and I'm not going to criticize it in the way that people think creative writing professors do. But sometimes it's really nice to know that there's someone out there looking at your work. That is the most important thing that a workshop can give you, the sense that your work matters and that someone is paying attention. Super quickly, did anyone want to read what you wrote?
I mean, I can read mine.
Okay.
Do it with your mom right there. That's even better.
It's not about my mom, though.
Of course, it never is. That's rule 1 of creative writing workshop. It's fiction.
All right. My mother never lived to see me grow up. She was taken from me by a dark force, and I've had to live with that force's mark all these years, in the form of a scar shaped like a lightning bolt.
Oh, what could that be about? That is terrific. All right, so one thing, I think I saw Maya do this. We clap for all writers, so I am the yay! Every workshop has several bouts of applause. I love that. Anybody else?
I could go.
Go ahead.
Okay. I always, whenever I read it, I wanted to go through rhymes, but I didn't want to write a poem, so I restarted in the middle of it and
Okay,
went for a
poem would
different
have been
turn.
great.
So I'd go, my mother never tells me what's behind the door. She comes home late, the moon shining brilliant from behind, shuts it tight. That's
Oh,
as far as I got.
I love that. That is terrific.
And I have to be mean and jump in. So I want to thank you all so much for joining us for our mini course. I really sincerely
Yay.
hope you will all be Hood students in the fall and you'll get to take
Yes.
classes with Dr. Gottfried. She may be your advisor. Even if she doesn't end up being your assigned advisor, her door is always open. I know I was frequently in there and she provides just the best help in the world, as all our faculty do. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is in the chat, I put where you're gonna need to go next to get to our Hood Hello. It's just hood.edu /ASD. And then you're gonna choose one of our Hood Hello links. There are 3 for first year students, 1 for transfer students. I would highly recommend maybe jumping into the 2nd or the 3rd Hood Hello. I think they'll be a little bit smaller because everyone will click on that first one. The other really cool thing you can do for me as we wrap up for the day, there is a survey link because we want to provide you all with a free t-shirt for joining us today. We really appreciate you coming. I don't know if you saw what President Chapdelaine was wearing, that shirt. That's the one we're going to be sending out to you if you just complete that survey. As long as you all, I have to provide this caveat, as long as you all have been accepted to Hood College. If you haven't applied yet, we would love to see you apply. And we will get your admission decision to you as quickly as possible. We are still doing this. But thank you all so much for joining. You can reach Dr. Gottfried at her last name, Gottfried, at hood.edu if you have any questions.
And you can always get that email, but please do email me. Questions come up at 3 a.m. And I'm not awake, but my email is. Sorry, Peyton, I just wanted
Most
to.
certainly. And then you can always reach out to the admission office if you have questions. We're doing lots more virtual events, so please check back on our Accepted Students Month page. Our first session will start this Monday with academic services and student success, and we will have Kate Gamir and Lisa Copenhaver, 2 of our success coaches, available to kind of talk to you about good study prep and all that kind of stuff. But thank you all so much for joining. Have fun in your Hood Hello. Thank you to Dr. Gottfried so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye,
you
everyone.
all. You made my Saturday. Thank you.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Dr.
Take care.
Gottfried.
Bye.
Enjoy your Hood Hello.
Enjoy.